to start it. What's up, everybody? Welcome back once again to Hot Toys Hotline Live, episode 121. I hope everybody is doing well on this fine Tuesday evening. We don't have like a super packed week, but I feel like we have a quality week. We have some really cool stuff. Hot Toys has been insanely quiet. I think it's been like, over 20 days since they've actually announced something 6 scale. I know we got the Sonic the Hedgehog Cost Babies, but we won't be talking about those tonight because we don't collect Cost Babies here. At least, I'm retired from collecting Cost Babies, and I think I only have 3 or 4, and 3 of them are in the attic in a box, so that shows you how much I care about those. But, guys, thank you so much for being here. Great to be here with you guys, as always. We should have at least 1 or 2 more panel members joining us. Starting off the stream, obviously, we just have Chris and I. But Chris was on time for once, so here we are, starting the stream off strong.
I've been on time.
Chris, thanks for being here. Guys, we're talking about, like, new figures we got in this week. Mine might be defective. I'm not quite sure, but I did get my black suit Spider-Man.
How many times are you?
Yeah, I don't remember this being part of the pre-order, but this is what I got. Maybe it's supposed to be the one Spider variant from Across the Spider-Verse. Not sure, but I might have to be making some modifications to this one because it doesn't quite look like the Toby that I know. But
that's from the wrong. That's from the wrong movie.
Maybe this is the one I got on Temu. I'm not sure. It came from Sideshow. Maybe I don't know. But guys, all jokes aside, this is a pretty cool figure. I really do hate the mask yet again. I don't like it. Yeah, it just doesn't look good. And there's like let me take the wig off. Let me scalp him real quick. Sorry, I just hit the camera. You can see
just ruined that figure.
Yeah, you can see that nasty seam there on the top. It does not look very good. And of course, you got the neck seam on this one. It does blend a little better because it's a all black suit. I think the body looks pretty good. It's not quite as beefy as I'd like it to be, but I will be sending this off to Riley Lowe because Riley Lowe is doing a black suit Spider-Man project. And I did talk to him the other day, and he said he's going to do a completely custom mask that he's developed. So can't wait to get rid of this mask because it really sucks. But I have both of the clothing sets on pre-order that everybody's been looking at. I have the Bully Maguire with like the suit showing underneath and the collar popped. I have that body on pre-order. I'll be using one of my head sculpts on that. And then shout out to Jeremy Casa. He was able to find another Toby head sculpt for me from the Spider-Man 3 figure. So that way I could use it on the all-black dancing suit as well. Another Bully Maguire suit. So really excited to be able to put those together. You guys know I'm crazy for my Toby. Brick Artemis over on his stream, he did a vote for like I think it was like the best Marvel film, highest rated Marvel film by him and the panel and the chat. And I thought it was just downright disrespectful that people voted for Infinity War off of Tobey Maguire's Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 1. So he was telling me to run another poll, and I'm like, he's like, Infinity War, all this stuff happened. I'm like, but as a standalone film, Spider-Man 1 didn't need a team up. It didn't need that. And Spider-Man 1, without that film, there would be no MCU that we know today. Those films, the Sam Raimi trilogy, really kind of brought this superhero genre into popularity, in my opinion. So I told Brick, I was like, got to give it respect where it deserves it. And Infinity War does not deserve that over Toby, but I digress. He told me to make a poll, but do I want to derail the stream with a poll? You guys got to let me know in the chat if you want to poll Infinity War versus Spider-Man 1. Yeah, but everybody in the chat, I'm going to say what's up to you guys. I see a lot of you popping in already. I hope everybody's doing well. Let's see who's in the chat tonight. We got Valkyrie Madness in the house, a channel member, a moderator, and an all-around great dude. Valk, thank you so much for being here, my friend. Valk says, good afternoon, Connor and friends. I can't wait for this figure to come out. Yes, I'm assuming, Valk, you're talking about the Artisan Luke, because that is the, at least in the thumbnail, the singular figure that we're talking about. But yeah, I'm very excited for it. And I'm pleasantly surprised by the final product. And I think it's going to be a little mixed. And Chris and I kind of briefly talked about this earlier, but I feel like it's just one of those, it's like its own thing. Kind of like that Artisan Wolverine, where if you're a big comic fan, that has a special place in your heart. And then others who are kind of outside of that, they may kind of diss it a little bit just because it's not something that they need. That's not like a main representation from a film or a show or anything. But nevertheless, I think it's really cool. But thank you so much for being here. And of course, Valk says, by the way, first, we got Ryan, Duck Collector, in the house, dropping the popcorn emoji as always. What's up, my friend? I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for being here. the first surprise guest for tonight. I didn't even tell Chris about this. I got a message from a little friend of ours who we haven't really seen too much on screen lately, but he's always been in the chat and been in our hearts. We have Sean, the Hot Toys Nightmare, a.k.a. Nightmare's Cave. Sean, so happy you're able to be here, especially with the special week of us talking about the Ghostbusters 2.0 4-pack, 3-pack, single release from Blitzway. Sean, how you doing, my friend?
I am good. How's everyone doing?
Doing great, dude. It's great to have you here. I was very excited to get a message from you saying, hey, if you got space, I'm ready to hop in. And it's great to have you here, man.
Thank you.
The crowd goes wild.
Yeah, I didn't have time to load a magazine and shoot off a full mag in the air in celebration, so that you just have to do with what Chris just gave you. But
I'm pretty sure it's illegal. I'm pretty sure that's illegal in your state too.
Hey, anything for Sean. But thanks for being here, dude. We're just getting started. Just saying what's up to everybody. Let's see what else we got. Sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just pulling up a comment. All right. Anyways, Ash Chase in the house. Thank you so much for being here, Ash. Ash says, what's up, plastic crackheads? Ash, I hope you're doing well. Appreciate you, as always, for hanging out with us. We got Tim in the house. Tim says, happy Tuesday, Connor and crew. What's up, Tim? Guys, as always, if you haven't already, check out the Caustic Plastic Facebook group run by Tim, and also Fabio and many others from the Caustic Plastic team are in the group. So it's a really great group, and you're going to want to pay attention to it because San Diego Comic-Con is coming up very shortly, and there's going to be some exclusives there, and apparently some early units of the Phantom of the Opera, I believe. So definitely a worthy group to join, a great group over there if you're fans of everything classic horror, Caustic Plastic, anything they do. Highly recommend it. And Tim, feel free to drop a link in the chat. Definitely need some people to get in that group because it's such a great company and I love to support them. Tim also says, kind of bummed I don't order that many figures, but both of the ones I had on pre-order got delayed. Hono Iron Man and Caustic Plastic Phantom of the Opera, not uncommon, but still disappointing. Yeah, I mean, the way I look at it, especially when it comes to Caustic Plastic, everything I have from them is just so great. As long as it is delivered how I'm expecting, I'm okay with it. And that's going to be a big invoice too. So for a lot of us that pre-order a lot more than you do, Tim, it's going to hurt. So maybe it's not so bad. Give me a little break, but I totally get it. I'm really, really excited for that pack as well. The ever iconic Man of Many Faces, Lon Chaney Sr. I cannot wait to get that figure. Very, very excited for that as well. Exactly. Yeah, I mean, I paid normal price, and for some reason I got the Artisan version. I didn't even know it was a thing. Maybe it was like a special edition. You sometimes get it when it's shipped to you. It's just a random thing. We got Jimmy in the house. What's up, Jimmy? Jimmy says, hi, everyone. We got Rusty Bronk. Curators is a good word. We're no longer collectors. We're curators. Thanks for being here, Rusty. We got Flavio in the house. What's up, my dude? Flavio, I think, just put up, or I know. Flavio just put up his review for the Artisan Anakin, the light side version, of course. So definitely go check that out. Flavio has his own way of doing things, and I think it's very fun. And he showed a lot of excitement for that figure, so you definitely got to check it out. Emperor's Crusader says, can we have some Indian music, please, lads? I don't have any Indian music on hand, Emperor's Crusader, so I think we'll have to stick with what we have, but if I had it, I'd play it for you. My boy Sneaky Figures in the house. Sneaky Figures, a channel member, a good friend, a moderator, and an all-around goat. What's up, my dude? Sneaky Figures, I hope you didn't pre-order those Mafex Terminator figures, because I was looking at pictures of them, dude, and they look pretty bad. I'm just saying that to make him mad. If Robert's in the chat or if he pops through, he'll enjoy that one. Let's see who else we got. We got Flavio says Toby poll. Maybe I'll do the poll, but if people vote against, just know, guys, if you vote against Toby, we're just gonna have to ban you. That's just it is what it is. Even though Flavio, he retracted his vote at the end after I scolded him. I'm just joking, of course. We got 12-inch Moose Stream. Moose in the house, the OG Hotline Hottie. Moose says, hello, community of collectors. I bought a few figures, but they were only Grails. Moose, I feel like you're always getting Grails, dude. You're always getting the good stuff. So congrats on that, man. I know you got some really good stuff recently. And thanks for being here, as always. And we also got one Adam 12 in the house. What's up, Adam? Adam, I hope you're doing well, my friend. Another Hotline Hottie and an all-around great guy. Guys, if you haven't already, check out one Adam 12 on YouTube. He does really awesome, kind of heartwarming reviews with his daughter. They just kind of have fun with it, and that's what it's all about. So definitely check out Adam's channel. Philip the Fool in the house. What's up, Philip? I hope you're doing well. Philip says, evening, gentlemen. Good evening to you. Philip, thank you so much for being here. Philip, did you pick up the black suit Tobey Maguire Spider-Man? I'm very curious, those of you guys who collect Spidey, what you think of it. We got Gio, the movie canon, in the house. What's up, Gio? Gio, another channel member, another great guy. Guys, if you haven't already, as I always say, Gio is one of the best to do it. You got to check out his channel if you haven't already. And as soon as the mini belt comes out, you know someone special is here. So, Chris, I'm going to have to give you the floor before we get started here tonight. We got Big Dog Pound in the house. What's up, my dude?
A small belt, but a big stream. Small announcements, but a big panel. And a legend. Big Dog Pound. Woo!
I was wondering where he was going with the big part. My mind started wandering. I thought you were going to say...
hey, whatever you want to put this strip, you know what I'm saying? That's your business. I mean...
dude, I didn't know where that was going, but Big Dog Pound a big... Woo! What's up, my friend? Thank you for being here. Eric in the house. What's up, Eric? Eric, I think you were going for the Ghostbusters. I think I saw you talking about the Ghostbusters. Another Hotline Hottie. Absolute great dude. Eric, thank you so much for being here, my friend. Philip the Fool did get Black Suit Spidey. I figured you would, Philip. Philip said, just got Black Suit Spidey in hand last week. Love it, and Toby is the GOAT. Need to get a custom mask ASAP, though. So, Philip, if you want to get the whole figure customized, I would recommend doing what I'm doing and hopping onto Riley Lowe's custom run that he's going to do. I believe he is going to allow you to send your figure in, which is what I'm going to do. Because I do love the Toy Stay masks. They're fantastic from the photos I've seen, because I don't own, the previous one. It's just that neck seam. So if you're like me and you want like ultimate accuracy, you got to get that neck seam sewn. And Riley Lowe, I did mention this earlier. I don't know when you came into the stream. He said he will be doing a fully custom mask as part of that project, apart from like beefing up some of the muscles and everything and kind of modifying the paint, I'm sure, in some areas. So if you wanna get it customized, I would highly recommend checking him out. And if you need his Instagram or anything, I can certainly send it to you.
Listen to me. Come closer. All right. Now that we're here, there's 43 up in this. 46 now.
It
with
just
the like
jumped.
button. Yeah.
It just jumped right as you said it. Tron, what's up, my dude? Tron, we're this close. We're this close to Tron Ares. We're almost there. We're in the home stretch. I cannot wait. But even closer, guys, look up, because there's somebody in the sky, and he might have a dog as a companion this time around.
Is he busting?
He's not busting. He's kicking ass probably, but he's not busting. I think that's everybody, guys. Ash Chase, I think I said what's up to you. Everybody, I hope everybody's laughing at Chris. He's a goofball. I hope everybody's doing well, guys. As always, if I missed your comment, I don't think I did, but if I missed any comments, just say what's up, drop your thoughts. I will do the poll, guys, just because I think we have to settle this once and for all. So as we get our discussion started, maybe reminds me later in the stream, we'll do our poll. Infinity War versus Spider-Man 1. You got to settle the debate. Just know if you vote for Infinity War, you're on my shit list. Just know that.
Bust the like button like we're about to bust some busters. You feel me?
Jeez, man.
Infinity War 100%.
No, see, Sean, I regret having you on already, dude. I'm just joking. Boba Fettuccine in the house.
Oh, you're number one YouTuber. We love you long time.
Thank you so much, Val. By the way, guys, tonight we're running the Ghostbusters figure funds, because I don't know if you guys saw the price tag on that 4-pack, but your boy dropped a pre-order. So if you want to help me out with the sting a little bit, thanks for starting us off strong, Valk. I appreciate you, my friend, with the $5 super chat. $4.99 to be exact.
Is generously donating part of that percentage from me being on tonight to me.
Certainly not. A guy who's late 70% of the time, we can't give you any of the proceeds. I would have to give it to Lane. Ash Chase, before you...
Putting a promo on you next.
You guys are convincing me not to put up this poll, because I see a lot of favoritism for Infinity War, and I want you guys to think about your answer, because you got to think about, yes, Infinity War is such an amazing movie, but did Toby need all these heroes banded together? Did Toby need... And then we lost Sean. Did Toby need all these heroes banded together to make a great film? Would Infinity War be there without Tobey Maguire's influence? I don't think so. I don't think so. I do love the film, though. I do love Infinity War. I actually like Infinity War. Geo, you guys are really ticking me off, man. I'm not doing the poll. Clearly, we see the winner.
I think I'll do Infinity War as well. Now, if
Nick,
you put the second fight, like Doc
Nick,
Ock's fight,
Joey,
then maybe-
Riley, where are you guys when I need you most? Come on, look, where are you guys when I need you the most? Big Dog Pound with the $1.99 super chat. Thank you so much, my
You
friend.
can't have this back.
Yeah, you're not allowed to have that anymore because you
sorry.
wrote. Big Dog Pound says, I love you guys like my brothers. We love you, my friend. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you so much, as always, for being the ultimate hype man in the chat, as always, getting everybody hyped up and excited. We appreciate you. In a emotional battle, he would. Emotionally. Like, hey, who makes me feel the best inside? It'd be Toby. Clinton Martin in the house, what's up? But thank you so much, Valk and Big Dog Pen. You are too kind, my friends. And D'Lo, I appreciate it, my dude. D'Lo, you're too kind, my friend. $5 super chat. Gio says, Connor, you're a G for the Ghostbusters tip. Yeah, you know, Gio and Flavio, you guys were really making me feel good for sharing the link with you guys to get that Ghostbusters 4-pack pre-order in. But I truly mean this. You know, I do it for any of you guys, and I knew any of you guys would do it for me. So I guess what I'm saying is I don't need the thanks, but I do appreciate it. So thank you so much, D'Lo, helping me carve a little off of that Ghostbusters 4-pack, because that one's going to sting. And it'll be stinging for you as well, because I know you got that pre-order. And so thank you so much, my friend. You are too kind. And everybody else, you guys are the best. SG says, what's up, fellas? What's up, SG? We lost Sean. I'm not sure what's going on there, but hopefully he'll be able to pop back in. We're going to get started. We'll see how hot of a topic this one ends up being, because should we be down here? Because we got a lot of room. Should we be down here? Maybe we'll be down here. Guys, do we like the side? We'll do the side. I think it looks better. Guys, we're going to talk about the most recent release from the quietness from Hot Toys. We have the artisan and sculpted versions of the Dark Empire Luke Skywalker. Excuse me. Now, I'm really, really actually impressed by how this looks, and I don't know if I'm in the minority on this one. I personally, from looking at these photos, think this looks better than the prototype in terms of the rooted hair. I really like how it looks. I felt like the rooted hair was a bit too puffy, and a lot of these shots, it looks a bit more tamed. And I know a lot of people in their mind, they picture just Mark Hamill in the role of Luke Skywalker in the original trilogy, but you have to remember this is derived from a comic series, and I think it's a series. I think, because I've never actually read the series, but I've seen all the art and everything. I think it's a series. This is Dark Empire Luke. This is a comic inspired figure here. And if you actually look at the art, he doesn't quite look exactly like Mark Hamill does in the original trilogy. He's got like a bit more of a slender face. The likeness is slightly different. Of course, it's just stylized for the comics. Like Chris has it there in his hands. So you can see what I mean. Like I think that this figure looks pretty damn spot on to the appearance here in Dark Empire. I think it looks really good. And again, this is one of those things, a lot of people, including myself, that aren't big comic readers, it might not be very appealing. For me, I love like concept art stuff and comic inspired stuff. Even if, you don't read the comics, you could be appreciative of the art and what it contributed to like the expanded universe and all the different stories. And it's freaking Luke Skywalker, man. And he comes with a red and green lightsaber, so it's just freaking cool, dude. It really is. I love the comparisons to Cole Sprouse and stuff, because he does look, a little Cole Sprouse, a little Dylan Sprouse-ish, but you also see that Mark Hamill in there to me, and I think it looks really good. And again, of course, the sculpted hair looks fantastic. We know that, but I think the rooted hair actually turned out a little bit better than the prototype, personally. Thank you so much, Ash Chase. You are too kind. Ash says, with the $5 AUD super chat, Ash says, sorry, Connor, I like you. I really do, but Thanos would kill Toby, and that's without the stones. Of course he would, dude. Of course. If Thanos would crush any Spider-Man like a bug, any live-action Spider-Man, that is, especially Tom Holland, he would disappear. Like I said, if we got to vote on who's pulling on the heartstrings the most, are you going to vote for the guy that snapped away half the universe? Or are you going to vote for the guy that held back a train with his bare hands and webs and saved a bunch of people? I know where my vote's going. But thank you so much. You are too kind, my friend. We also got OG Fan in the house. So it was kind of a run. I appreciate that, OG. See, OG, you know everything. Thank you so much for being here, by the way, OG. A hotline hottie, a moderator, and the all-around GOAT. OG says, Dark Empire and Dark Empire 2, Both are 6-issue runs under Dark Horse Comics. So that would be a 12-issue total series. So that's pretty cool. Like I said, I'm not a big comic reader. I'm not a book reader in general, but I really, really appreciate these comic-inspired looks. So this is definitely something that I wanted to take home. I do have the Artisan on pre-order. Emperor's Crusader. If we're talking about up-and-coming Hot Toys, this is a figure that's about to release. So I don't think I'm talking nonsense, but you're entitled to your opinion. But anyways, so this is a figure that just released. A lot of people are divisive on it. I personally think it looks really good. I love how the hair looks. You know, it's not going to be for everybody, though. Those who don't collect comic books, those who aren't into the comic stuff and just into the films, I understand why it's divisive. But generally speaking, a lot of people seem to be on board with this in the Hot Toys comment section, and I think he looks really good. The red lightsaber, I think, is the way to go, though. He's got the Darth Vader hilt. I just think it looks really cool. Chris, I know Lane's really hyped for this one. I hope Lane's able to make it into the stream so he can kind of share his thoughts on it. But, Chris, is this one that you had your eye on at all? Do you appreciate this, at least for the representation? What are your thoughts on how it turned out?
Yeah, when we did the stream, when it came out, I talked about kind of what this piece meant to me. I typically don't go for like comic inspired or weird one-offs like this. But the fact that when I was younger, my father actually gifted me this book and I still have it. And when I saw this, it like triggered a memory. And then sure enough, I went and looked for it and found it. And it's the exact one that I knew from when I was younger or whatever. And I was just flipping through the pages here. Because it's more animated style, like the front cover looks more like Luke than what's in the comic itself. I don't think it looks like Mark Hamill at all, but it has like different cut, like it's colored very differently. And I think in the end of it, like when he has like this suit going on, it does and like give him a red saber. At least it's drawn that way. So I think that that's really cool that you can kind of choose whether you want this look. I'm personally going to go with this green one and like have him posed in the cover just because I like the way that looks, and then have the book next to it. So I pre-ordered it like day one and I got the artisan version. Very happy with how it looks, and based on the cover, like the way his hair splits, I think it looks spot on. It's not what we're used to seeing from Luke and like how his hair looks and how dark it is. I think that's why people are a little weird with it. And I was at first, but there is something about it that draws me to it. And obviously, because it's that one off, it's not something he did in the movie. So I'm not criticizing it too hard.
Yeah.
It's based off of that comic look. And I think it's going to look excellent in the display, especially next to the comic that I have.
Yeah. No, that's a really cool like story you have with that figure, and you know, maybe that's reason enough to have it in your display. And yeah, I mean, like I said, I do see a touch of Mark Hamill in it. It's like an uncanny type of thing where you could see a little touch of him, but that you could see
I
clearly,
see him in
where
the
they've
figure
clearly
for
like,
sure.
yeah, where they've clearly like used the reference material and kind of tweaked the sculpt a little bit. I think it looks really good though, and again, like. Me personally, and we'll get to the photos of the sculpted hair as well, I think it looks really pretty spot on.
I'm surprised they didn't give him like some Sith eyes, because it's animated. You can't tell it's Sith eyes, but they do a lot of close-ups on his face, and he does look like darker, like he turned to the dark side. So,
Well, you know what I was thinking? Like, you know, I have multiple of those Topo Studios
You
sets.
could.
I'm like, I could use if I want to display them in like a dark side mode, because my plan for this one, that Stormtrooper background, the black and red Death Star wall, that's always been my plan, to put him on there and kind of have him with the Vader lightsaber. So I might have to do that. I might have to give him one of those extra pairs of eyes and set him up that way and kind of have the dark side look. Let's see. We got a couple comments coming through.
It takes place. It's 6 years after Battle of Endor.
Yeah. It's a pretty cool story from what I've heard. Like I said, I'm not a big comic reader, but I do enjoy the comic inspired stuff. Emperor said, no, the Tobey Maguire thing, I don't get it. Oh, so Emperor, like, it's something from Brick Artemis's stream. I'm sorry if there was, like, no context to it, but, you know, sometimes you got to have a little fun, dude. We do keep it on topic, I promise you, most of the time.
Basically, Emperor getting a hold of Luke just like he did his father. Comes back.
Yeah, and who doesn't want a dark side Luke? That's, like, just a cool thing to have in the display. It's really cool. Zombie says, Artisan looking better than the sculpted in these pics. Yeah, it's funny. It's really divided because even like a friend of mine that like much prefers rooted hair, he thought the sculpted looked better, but I like both. Like right here, dude. And another thing, Chris and I were kind of talking about this earlier. It's like, dude, his hair is like kind of the color of what Anakin's was supposed to be. So it's kind
That's
of like
literally my first thought. I was like,
and I'll show you in the Figure Hideouts video. When you see a Figure Hideouts video, you're like, damn, that is kind of close to what Anakin's hair should have been. So it's kind of like a shot in the heart a little bit. But,
isn't it interesting too? Like the hair comes off of the sculpt like all the other releases. So I'm kind of curious if you can pop on like a sculpted hair piece on this, if it would look fun.
I think you can. I think people said you can. Like you could pop the artisan hair completely off.
Because I'd like to see what it looks like on Return of the Jedi, like in person.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah. Manny Fresh in the house. What's up, my dude? I hope you're doing well. Love the profile picture. It's Maul and dude. Can't beat that. That's fire. Hope you're doing well, Manny. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah, Zombie, I'm glad I'm not the only one. Usually we don't say that. We're always used to seeing like a 5 to 10 to 15% like decrease in quality, but I kind of like this one. I think it looks better. Dude, Chris, I'm looking at the color of the hair there and I'm like, you bastards.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Ash says, where's Yellow Suit Wolverine? Dude, that's got to be any day now, right? Like, I feel like it's just overdue at this point. Like, I'm wondering if that's going to be any day. It's got to be.
Yeah. Go ahead and peel back that hair like you did on that other figure you had to destroy and do it to your Anakin and give him the hair.
I actually, guys, I already have this figure in hand, dude. I already have. If you guys are curious, that's just a wig from my one of my figures. I had to destroy the head sculpt to get it replaced.
Yeah, just do that to Artisan Anakin when you get it, and then put it on the Luke.
Definitely not. Moose says Dark Luke looks damn good. Now we need a white Vader. Yeah, that redeemed Vader would be really cool. Yeah, I've said that a couple times. The redeemed Vader would be a pretty awesome release, and it's very Hot Toys.
Was redeemed Vader a thing? Because I felt like we call it proto Vader, like for that Revenge of the Sith or whatever they were doing, where he's all white and gray. But that was just fitting for Hayden. It wasn't really a proto suit. I was just
there's like an actual comic thing where there's a redeemed Darth Vader.
I didn't know that.
And I think he has his blue
lightsaber again. Didn't they do that in that series, that Lego series too, where everything's backwards, like Darth Jar Jar? And I'm pretty sure there is.
There is a black
with the Black Falcon. I'm pretty sure there's a white Vader in there.
Yeah, maybe. I have the Black Series figure of it, so I'm sure that there are other companies have done it, but
yeah, I personally wouldn't get that. I think it'd be cool for collectors, crazy. But when I think of Darth Vader, bro, I don't know.
1-6 lovers in the house. What's up, dude? 1-6 lovers, have you picked this figure up yet? I probably not, because I haven't seen any of your pictures or anything. Either that or you just didn't tag me in it like you usually do. But I'm very curious to see your thoughts on this one if you're picking this one up. Yes, the Midnight Collector does ride again. I don't know what happened to Sean. He might have messaged me on Facebook or something. I'm not sure, but I hope Sean's okay. Yeah, this sculpt kind of looks good at all angles too, in my opinion. And it's like, do you go with green or red? I guess if you have a Return of the Jedi Luke or a New Hope Luke, you kind of want to go with that dark side look. I think it looks really good. Dark Luke's profile has a strong cheekbones and lantern jaw. Damn good sculpt. Yeah, and like I said, I'm glad to see that some of you other guys kind of have the same realm of thinking as me, where I think it's a little bit improved from the proto. I think it looks pretty awesome. I want to get to the sculpted version so you can kind of see, and it's so hard to tell which one's the sculpted version. This is the sculpted version. It's pretty damn good, but you can kind of see the difference in the color of the hair, which is interesting. It's a bit darker. Not that that's a bad thing. I think the sculpted hair looks pretty damn good too. Like, it frames the face really nice. And I could definitely see the argument on both sides of which version you like more. I'm definitely still leaning towards the Artisan, but man,
go back one photo.
Good. Looks like pretty damn good, dude. Yeah, it looks pretty damn good. Love the sculpt, I really do. Zombie says, this figure was not on my radar, but it's hitting for me right now. It really makes me wish they 2.0 Return of the Jedi. I know, dude. I'm very curious to see, though there's going to be some differences, curious to see if anybody's able to adapt to this sculpt onto the Return of the Jedi body. I know it's going to be tough with that little connector, but someone will figure it out.
I'm curious.
That's kind of funny. I'm not going to lie. It is the same haircut as Newt Scamander. That's pretty
I'm
funny.
curious to see if
okay.
somebody had both. Like, I don't see why you would do this, or if you found a sculpt by chance, like secondary market, if the artisan hair fits on the sculpted one. Like, if you
Yeah.
can, that'd be interesting to.
That would be interesting. I think he's talking about that one Lego release
The
where it was like a
Lego,
blacked
yeah.
out Millennium Falcon.
Yeah.
There he is. We were worried we lost you for good, Sean.
Sorry about that, guys.
Oh, it's all good. But you came back
I
with
had a
the camera,
dog
so that's
throwing
good.
up, so I had to run off.
It's all right. My
care of
cat
that.
threw up an entire thing of tuna fish earlier, so too much information. Ash likes the sculpt better as well. So Sean, since you're back now, and also Emperor's, I lost your comment, but don't sweat it, dude. It's all good. I got thick skin. It's all good. Don't worry about it. Emperor's Crusade also says, I've always wondered why this design, why is wearing the Vader's clothes. He's doing a Lando. I don't know. Like, I guess it's supposed to be like a turn to Luke. Like, is that part of the story? Like, he turns to the dark side again? I've never actually read these comics. I just really like the figure. I think the design's cool. So you guys will have to school me. Maybe OG can school us and some of Boba Fettuccine. But Sean, now that you're back, is this a figure that you picked up, whether it's sculpted or artisan, and what are your thoughts on how it turned out? It seems like a decent amount of people in the chat, and including myself and Chris a little bit as well, kind of think it turned out a little bit better than the prototype. What are your thoughts on it?
I do think it's better than the prototype. I had first ordered this, but then I canceled it just because with the amount of room I have, I'm still have a limitation of space. And it was at the time where I got to fully decide, what I'm going to collect and everything. And collecting everything, regardless of how much space you have to place everything, is not feasible.
That's fair.
At all. It's not realistic. So I had to make a choice and I had to cut it. But I think it came out great. It's, I do like the sculpted more than the artisan. But yeah, overall, I'm happy for everyone who got it. I hope they're happy. It does look better than the what we saw when it was first teased. It was a shock because nobody saw this coming from Hot Toys.
Oh yeah, not at all.
But it definitely looks better.
Yeah, and this is one of the few releases where I look at it and I'm like, I could kind of see people going to either side when it comes to the hair. So, yeah, I think it looks really good. I think the sculpted hair looks pretty damn realistic from far back, especially. It looks really nice. And I love these photos, too, with the purple background. That's super sick. Really, really nicely done photos. And Sean, it's also refreshing because, we've had so many blogger photos that were, like, frustrating to look at. And I think they've done the opposite here. I think they did a great job presenting this figure, and I think it looks really, really awesome. Like, yeah, great shots here, mate. Even with the yellowish photos, he looks awesome. And that's where we usually kind of lose the likeness a lot. So definitely really cool.
See, one thing I don't remember the full story of Dark Empire.
OG's kind of updating us a little bit on it because I asked for his help because I know he's read them all. He said he became Palp's apprentice to take up his father's mantle, including this outfit. He is undercover to destroy the Empire, but gets dangerously close to turning to the dark side. See, dude, that's cool, man. That's really cool. It's a really cool story.
See, the thing I never understood was why his lightsaber was always still green.
It's weird because it's like in the drawings, it's bluish and then it's reddish at the end because it's his father's hill. But
yeah,
and that's just the drawing. So, but the front covers got it as green. So I don't know.
And I know, sorry guys, I know it's kind of small, but shout out to the Figure Hideout. This is the only video available, and it's a great video at that. Let me see if I can make it.
I was about to ask if you were going to show it because I think the hair, you can really see how great the hair looks.
Yeah, and it's very, and again, you look at the hair, and you're like, it's the color of the Anakin. Yes, that's the color that the Anakin hair should have basically been.
It's pretty close to it,
yeah, it's got that light color to it. By the way, just to tell you guys, if you're curious, this is a fully nylon suit. I saw someone make a comment on the Hot Toys post about oh, why you keep using pleather. This is actually all nylon, so no pleather BS. So creepy with the hair taken off. USB powered belt boxes as well. This is, you can see him hooking it up here. This is really sick, guys. It's
I
kind
forgot
of like everything you would want.
to mention the future, like Han and Leia's unborn son is also mentioned in it too, like them struggling to protect him and stuff, and then
Yeah.
while they're doing that, they're realizing like their greatest foe ends up being Luke.
That's pretty cool. How cool is that, too, that he comes with both Vader and his own lightsabers? That's just like full circle type of thing. By the way, what's up, Uncarded Reviews? I don't know if I said hi to you earlier. Uncarded Reviews says, collectors have one rule, and that's the only, the one you'll have to break for an artisan. I know, dude. It's these artisans are getting us lately, man. They really are. Big Dog Pound says, this is S-tier work by Hot Toys.
I'm happy they didn't skimp out on this one, too, with giving both of those lightsabers like USB-C. Because I'm not gonna lie, if I see the hilt in person, it looks like the Return of the Jedi version, but I might end up giving that to my Return of the Jedi version.
Yeah, that's a good thought. That's a good thought. And also, this is a great idea, by the way. Putting the murder droids with him. That's a really cool idea. I might have to steal that.
Yeah, I told you to do the Empire, like the red background base, like that comes with the troopers. The red.
Well, yeah, that's what I've been planning on using. Yeah, I've literally kept that in the box since then because I wanted to use it for that. Yeah, the base is really cool. Like I said, for mine, I'm gonna be using the backdrop from the Shadow Trooper. I've been saving it and keeping it in the box until this shows up, so that's gonna be a really cool display.
I don't even remember the stand for this one.
Yeah, I mean it's like similar to the newer stands, but I think it looks really nice and clean. Philip says, I would have liked a more menacing presence from this figure. I guess he's not technically a Sith, but he's labeled as one. Yeah, I mean, I guess the expression is a little blank, but maybe that's a good thing, so you can kind of display him either way you want, because it's kind of in the middle. Maybe that's why they went for a neutral expression. He's a great-looking figure, man.
The box, is it like the old Sideshow Star Wars boxes, where you had accessories on one side and the figure on the other? Like on this one,
yeah,
though,
I noticed that box. It's different, and it opens up just like those old Sideshow ones too.
Yeah,
I did not notice that.
I don't think. Yeah, if you go back to the beginning, I think it's just the head sculpt in that side because I did see the coin and the lightsabers with Luke. But yeah, it's like a folded box like Sideshow, and then the one side used to have accessories like after you open the flap. So I thought it was cool that they did that for this.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Yeah, see.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And the head sculpt. I don't know what else is in there. Maybe the stand because he didn't pull it all the way out. I don't know.
They did a really good job condensing all the stuff. That's pretty cool. It reminds me of like the anniversary boxes. Like they fit a lot in a small package.
And you gotta think the sculpted, because it doesn't have to be in that case like that. I wonder if the sculpted packaging is different.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, that's actually a really good point. OG Fan, a hotline hottie for 18 months. Thank you so much, my friend, as always. OG Fan says, well, I'll have to wait to have this in hand, but Luke is Tef Becky with the great hair. Unlike Anakin, OT over prequel trilogy all day, Spider over Infinity War. Hey, at least somebody's on my side. Thank you so much, OG. We might be divided on the prequel versus original trilogy. That's a tough one. I'm like putting two of my babies against each other. Maybe I'll just cop out and say I love them both equally.
We know that's
not true. Philip, I definitely will try out because I got 4 sets of the Anakin clothing sets from Topo Studio, so I will definitely put a pair of those eyes in this figure, and we'll see how it turns out. Is the base magnetic? I don't know.
So.
I don't remember.
No, it's got a cross grabber right there.
But he does a good job at making you think it is when it drops like that. And I think I scrolled past 16 Lover's comment earlier, but I think he said that this hasn't released yet. He's waiting for the pickup notification and everything. So 16 Lovers, I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts on it. Guys, I think we're going to move on, though, from the Dark Empire Luke. Anybody have any additional thoughts in the comments or anything like that before we move on? I'm sure not, because you can only talk so much about Dark Empire Luke. But
I do have just one comment. Is I wish Hot Toys would start with all Artisan with a sculpted version of every one.
Well, they mostly have, haven't they?
Well, I mean, like, for example, the Winter Soldier wasn't.
You mean like announce it?
Like when they announce it, right? So, like the Winter Soldier, you could only order an Artisan version. You couldn't order a sculpted version.
Equan, you can't come in just right off the rip calling me out, dude. You got to warm up a little bit. But dude, like I felt like
it's for
because
the old releases because he doesn't get rid of anything.
yeah, I have the old Anakins, and also like it's kind of special to me because I approached Topo to do the project, and it became a
So you gotta
reality.
buy him out.
So I'm like, I gotta buy out their whole stock, right? No, I know people that bought like I think what did our boy Beskar kid? I think he said he bought 6 or 7 sets,
Dude, yeah, he definitely
which is great. I told Topo, I'm like, if you guys make this, it will be a big seller, and it is sold like crazy for them. I just know it.
Yep. I bought a set. Kevin bought a set.
I've seen a lot of people buying it up, so good for them, man. But by the way, what's up, Equan? Thanks for being here, my friend. Thanks for being a hotline high. Which reminds me, this is in honor of Equan. Let me jump back over here. Hold on one second, guys. Once it loads up for me, in honor of Equan calling me out right as he joins, we'll do this. Hold on.
Best car said 7.
7. There we go. You make me feel better about myself, Beskar. Thanks for being there with me. This is in honor of Equan, so guys, thank Equan for this.
Thanks.
And look at that, Chris. Come on, bro. I'm taking it back. Chris doesn't deserve it.
That's my third one, dude.
And Beskar kid, look at that. You mention his name, he answers, but then he also becomes a hotline hottie again. So thank you so much for being here, Beskar kid and Equan, and welcome back to the hotties, my friend. I got a couple more comments I want to read real quick before we move on. Uncutter Review says, I think that Hot Toys has really hit a stride with this release. Now the future Artisan releases should really cook. I hope so, dude, because we've seen some missteps with some of the Artisan stuff, or some confusing things with like the Scarlet Witch. So hopefully, fingers crossed, this is a good sign moving forward. And this might be a really good sign for that Artisan Obi-Wan and the Artisan Spider-Man as well, because he has shorter hair. So fingers crossed. But guys, it's time to move on. Bustin' makes me feel good.
Oh,
Here we are, guys. We're moving on to what I've been waiting to talk about, and that's the Ghostbusters. So, guys, this was a crazy one, and I'm sure you guys remember before these went live for pre-order, we were talking about it, and, we shared our thoughts on it, guys, and I don't want to say I told you so, but we told you guys this was going to be a tough drop. And the good thing is, as we're talking about this, I just want to reiterate, you can still get each one of these figures individually through Blitzway, Spec Fiction, many other companies that carry these figures, that carry Blitzway products. But you cannot get the 3-pack or you cannot get the 4-pack. The 4-pack literally sold out on Blitzway's website in like 60 seconds. Like, I'm not even exaggerating. It like disappeared like that. And then, of course, shortly following that was the 3-pack. A lot of people are like confused about the 3-pack. The 3-pack, they call it the Doctor 3-pack. Obviously, Zedmore wasn't a doctor, so I guess that was their way of like making a cheaper offering. You could buy that though, and then grab Zedmore by himself, and I think that's what some people probably did. Weirdly enough, and kind of a little bit of salt in the wound, if you buy all 4 of these individually, it's actually more expensive than getting the all-in set by itself. So a little bit of salt in the wound, because I think these were like $309 each, and then it was like $11.99 out the door for the 4-pack.
And then you get the extra with it, don't you? Like,
right, so you're like paying more for less. But, if you're a big Ghostbusters fan, it's still good that you have the opportunity to get these figures in hand regardless. I think a lot of you guys are like, you know what, I could do without the Slimer. At least I can get, and the extra head sculpts, at least I could get the Ghostbusters, which is great to see. And what's up, Tom? Thank you so much for being here, my dude. I hope you're doing well. But yes, Uncarter Reviews, I agree. This is a fantastic set and really, really exciting for a lot of us. A lot of us obviously have been waiting for these figures to be 2.0 to reissued. And obviously, for a long time, honestly, it was kind of a pipe dream, because this was a really big Grail set, along with the Ecto 1, which is still a massive Grail, the 84 specifically. Because I think Big Bad Toy Store, you could still get the Afterlife Ecto 1. But yeah, dude, this is really sick and really, really exciting, because finally, those of us who could not afford or did not want to shell out thousands of dollars for the original 1.0 set, we had a chance to stick our teeth in the 2.0 set. And I got to be honest, guys, I think they look fantastic. Blitzway in the past, a lot of their older releases have been hit or miss when it comes to paint apps. When I got that Blitzway Kurt Cobain in hand, I'm like, okay, Blitzway has really turned it up a notch. The paint apps on that figure are fantastic. You have some really nice like airbrushed veins. You got speckling to the skin. You got some real depth to the paint apps, and that's what you want to see from a good paint job from these companies. So I can see some really good signs in a lot of these high-res photos, and you'll see some of the closer-ups of the individual Ghostbusters, not this one in particular, where you can kind of see a glimpse of how good the paint actually looks. But I'm pretty impressed by it. Some people were saying they didn't know how they felt about it. I think the paint looks much better than the 1.0 set. What's up, Big Old Fern? Thanks for dropping in, bro. Thank you so much for being here. Always great to see you. I hope you're doing well. Talk about some Ghostbusters, dude. It's a great time to be a collector. I will say, guys, I got to be honest with you. I'm not a huge fan of this head sculpt. It's very mid to me. I know what they're going for, and obviously they're displaying it here with the radio or the walkie-talkie for a reason, but I don't know. I'm just, let's say this. I'm glad we get 2 Bill Murray sculpts, 2 Venkman sculpts, because I'm not a huge fan of this sculpt. But I'm glad that it's included. We love the bonus stuff. If you're able to get the pack, we love the bonus stuff. So I'm super glad that it comes with multiple sculpts. Jimmy says, I'm glad I am so lucky to get the Ghostbusters 4-pack set from Blitzway in 1 minute. Yeah, congrats on that, dude. It was hard, man. It really was. And I do want to put up a poll about this to see what you guys were able to pick up. So we'll do Blitzway Ghostbusters, and pardon me while I type this. And Chris, we'll jump to you, and let me put you on a better photo here so you can share your thoughts. We'll let you look at the Slimer while I put up this poll. Chris, did you pick this up? Are you going to be adding this to your personal collection? What are your thoughts on the actual prototypes that we're seeing here for the 2.0 Ghostbusters?
So I think first and foremost, like, I don't really know how to say. I'm not the biggest Ghostbuster fan in the world. Like, I watched the first one, and I have to watch the others because maybe I've watched it or judged it too harshly. But I don't know. It didn't retain. But with that being said, I like the idea of them. I like what they do. I think it's pretty cool, and the outfits are pretty iconic. Like, I'm not gonna lie, when I see them on the shelf, like, they look insanely cool. So I got it for mostly review purposes, and if it goes up, that might be a bonus too, like resale value. But I'm strongly considering like keeping them in the collection, and I think having the addition of Slimer, like, that part is really cool to me, because I was always eyeballing those 1.0s, like with the whole Ecto 1 and stuff like that. And it just always made me feel weird that if I was going to get those, I'd like to have the extra added piece to it, and that being Slimer, because I'm just that kind of dude where I feel like you gotta go deluxe, go big, or go home. And if I had a set knowing something was out there that I didn't have, I'd feel some type of way. So very lucky to have gotten this set, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's when it comes to Ghostbusters, I love the films, and Chris and I were talking about this the other day. I love the films. I'm a fan for sure, but I'm not like a super fan. So it's like, I'll be honest with you guys. I'll be honest with you guys. If they announce the Ecto 184 again, I don't know if I would get it just because of space. I have 2 Batmobiles currently. I've got the Blitzway DeLorean on pre-order. I've got another Batmobile I'm considering getting. So it's like, for space reasons, the Ecto 1 is gigantic. I say this, and maybe when it's presented to my face, maybe I'll be like, oh shit, why not? You know what I mean? But I don't know for sure if I would get the Ecto 1 if they did it again, because I know that's a big topic of conversation right now, because everybody wants the Ecto 1 to go with their Ghostbusters. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they're going to do another one.
See, that's the hard part too, is like, I'd also prefer the original vehicle over the new movie, and
Yeah.
I feel like when you have them all together, that Ecto 1, like, I see people's photos of them in front of that vehicle in their collection, like, it just looks so good, dude.
Yeah.
It'd be hard not to pick up that vehicle.
Yeah, I know. Like I said, when it's presented in front of my face, I may, flake and go and grab it, but we'll see. Moose says, by the way, thank you so much, Moose, a Hotline Hottie for 18 months. Moose says, check out Grail pics on the Hot Toys Hotline group. Moose, remind me towards the end of the stream, and I would love to pull those up because I know you got a lot of really cool stuff. I know we had some comments here, and then we got legendary Lane Kramer, the Midnight Collector, a.k.a. the Giveaway Machine, a.k.a. the most handsome legendary Lane in the galaxy.
Oh, Lane, no hat today.
Lane, I know, Lane, I know you had it rough over there in traffic land, so we're happy to have you here. We weren't sure if you were going to be. I think you're muted, Lane. Let me see. While Lane's fixing his stuff, I do want to read a couple comments. Let's see. So Jimmy said he was able to pick it up, the 4-pack. Congrats on that, Jimmy. What's up, Travis? Travis was excited about these. Sculpts and paint look great. I know I was talking to Travis over on Instagram, so Travis, congrats on your pickup, dude. I know you were really excited for these. Flavio, I know he was successful in these as well. Flavio also does not care for that alternate Peter Venkman head. Like I said, I agree, Flavio. It might be better in person. It's just in the pictures. Maybe it's the shading, and it's like I said it in my video. It kind of looks like he has like Bugs Bunny teeth. It's just weird to me. Yeah, I was pleasantly. Now? Yeah, we can hear you, Lane. We can hear you. Good. Lane, are you excited that there's a removable glizzy attachment for the Slimer? Was that something that was really exciting for you?
Yeah, that is absolutely one of my top 10 accessories I always thought was needed for any figure ever.
Dude, I was stoked. I'm like, you got the removable glizzies. You can have a
cigarette in the mouth too.
Yeah, I mean, this is an impressive 4-pack.
Yeah,
like all of them together. I still don't get why do they have a 3-pack and a 4-pack, but
yeah, it is weird. Because I've said this many times. Like Zedpor is one of my favorite Ghostbusters, and all the stuff that the actor went through with the studio and stuff, like with I think like advertising materials and things like that. I don't know. It's weird to see them do the 3-pack, but again, I understand why they did it because it's called the Doctor 3-pack because those 3 were doctors. So I guess that was their way of selling a pack to make it a bit cheaper. But you got to have all 4, dude. You got to have all 4, and also
it's the 4 Ghostbusters.
Exactly, and also
I 3 and then buy the single though too. So.
Right, yeah, you get what I'm saying though. You want to have all 4 Ghostbusters, and also for most improved head sculpt, the award goes to Zedmore because they did such a great job at improving his head sculpt. I think he looks awesome. They really, really did a great job. He did not
look good. The old one did not look good.
Yeah, the original one was definitely a bit rough.
I was saying I literally just got home 4 minutes ago. So
you didn't even have time to eat a glizzy, Lane.
Yeah, I quickly scarfed down like a couple chips or like a handful of chips or something like that because I was
Lane's
starving.
Like got a piece of candy in his pocket with a little bit of lint on it. And he's like, shit.
Not quite that bad. I grabbed ate a handful of chips and then said I got to get on because I looked and was like, oh my god, it's like 10-7. Jesus,
handful of chips, a Werther.
I'm more worried. Is it going to be like this every day from now on?
Don't jinx it, Lane.
The next year or two.
Don't jinx it. But yeah, Rusty Bronco, and interestingly enough, guys, I feel bad for those who aren't used to going for limited drops because I think a lot of us who have been part of these hobbies with all this limited stuff are used to website malfunctions because these weren't ready. Like Rusty Bronco is saying, these weren't ready exactly at 9 p.m. EST. Yeah. We kept refreshing, and you could see the button was not like blacked out like you could click it yet. It was like kind of grayed out and you just had to keep refreshing. So I think that probably threw a lot of people off. Maybe some people thought it was already sold out. I don't know what was going through some collectors' heads, but definitely a rough one. It went really quick. And guys, if you're not on Shop Pay, highly recommend it. It makes the checkout process very, very straightforward, and I think it's a lot quicker than any other options, even like Apple Pay and Google Pay for the companies that offer it. Congrats, Plastic Crack Collectibles. That is awesome. Again, it was not an easy piece to get, so those of you who are able to snag that 4-pack, you are definitely in a small select group, so congrats on that, my friend.
We only have 1,500. Are theirs going to be numbered?
There's no mention of them being numbered, so I would imagine not. At the very least, maybe they'll put something on the shipper that says 1 of 1,500, but I don't know if it'll have a specific number.
Was the previous one numbered?
I don't think so. No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Were those limited too?
Yes. Those. That's why it sold for so much, that 4-pack. I don't know if it had a limited number assigned to it. I can't remember, to be honest, because that's such an old release. But it was limited. Assistant Regional Sith, this is a great question. So he's talking about, I think you're talking about the Ghostbusters 2 figures. I don't know. I mean, I was honestly, when we were seeing some rumors about Blitzway doing Ghostbuster stuff again, that's what I expected. I didn't expect them to do the 84 suits again, but I'm glad they did. I love Ghostbusters 2, but you can't beat the OG tan flight suits. You just can't beat it. And I think the Neutrona wand and stuff are a bit different in Ghostbusters 2, and I definitely prefer the design on the first film. But those of you guys that have the V1 OG set, I can understand why you would want Ghostbusters 2. Trust me, I get it. What's up, Supernova? Supernova says, I'm glad I'm not into Ghostbusters. These look awesome, but I have way too many. Dude, I'm right there with you, bro. There's so much stuff. Like, I talk to my buddies who do statues and stuff, and they're always trying to convince me to buy this shit. And I'm like, dude, I can't, man. I just can't. I buy too many 6-scale. I've got, like, a few statues on pre-order, and that even stings. But that's, like, related to Revenge of the Sith. So it's like, they get me there. There's so many Predator statues from Prime 1 that I would love to pick up, and I just can't. I don't have the money or the space. So I will admire it from afar, especially that wolf from Prime 1. That thing is sexy. That is a sick statue, dude. There you go. By the way, what's up, Earth 616? If you're looking for the Doctor 3-pack, if you're looking for the Doctor 3-pack, head on over to Pop Culture. That is an Australian-based distributor. You can pick it up from there. We also have my boy, the GOAT, Graham, the Jedi Night's Watch, in the house. What's up, my dude? I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for being here, guys. 78 people watching just for Graham, the Jedi Night's Watch. If you love him, smash that like button. Don't be that guy that doesn't love Graham, the Jedi Night's Watch. Hit that like button. Thank you so much for being here, Graham. I hope you're doing well. Guys, if you haven't already, what are you doing? Check out Wolfpack Wednesdays every Wednesday at, Graham, you know the time. I think it's 9:30 p.m. EST. I'm pretty sure I'm right about that. Big Rib, I would say if I were you, you hold on to that second pack and get yourself some great trays. That's what I would do. I would absolutely not cancel that. I would, unless you want to help out a buddy, I would not cancel that. Do it, yes, do it for Graham at 9:30 p.m. EST on Wednesdays. Graham, you didn't confirm it. You were supposed to. But yes, thank you so much for being here. And yes, Big Rib, I would hold on to that, my friend, unless you know somebody that needs it. Help them out. If not, fair game, trade bait, whatever you want to do with it. Boba Fettuccine says, Ghostbusters 2, like Predator 2, starring Gary Busey, is very underrated. I love Predator 2. I can go on and on about Predator 2. Danny Glover did such a great job filling Arnold Schwarzenegger's shoes, no less. Did a great job. So I love Predator 2. I love the City Hunter. Speaking of Predator 2, I just sent out my City Hunter again, a second time, to my boy George over at GKH16 Customs because he's doing some more custom work on my City Hunter. So I'm excited to get that back eventually. And guys, a lot of people ask me about custom Predator work. That's who I recommend. George from GKH16 Customs over on Instagram. And he goes by George Hatter on Facebook. That's his full name, Hadder, if you want to get custom Predator work done. Sean, you've been waiting patiently. I feel like we should jump over to you. One thing I want to point out, Sean, and I want to hear your thoughts on this. Interestingly enough, in the description on the website, it does state that these have magnetic bases, and there is a video that Blitzway put out where they're on the bases without a grabber. But weirdly enough, in these individual photos of each Buster where it's showing what they come with, there's actually a stand, as you can see, a grabber on the base. And that's not the original grabber that came with the original base, weirdly enough, because those had that weird little like wireframe grabber that like slotted into the base.
Yeah, those were pretty horrible.
Yeah, they were. So do you think maybe that they like changed this after the fact? Because when you look at their video, and I'll show you, there's no grabber present at all. So you think maybe they added that magnetic base towards the end of their prototyping process? And also, what are your thoughts on the figures, of course?
I mean, towards the end of the process, I think it would probably be towards the beginning. And maybe they realized that the magnet may not be strong enough. So they're adding the addition to the base for the grabber. So, for example, in 2020, we had an earthquake here in Utah. And everything that was on a base, one of the Hot Toys bases with the grabber, was actually okay. The parts that I had that broke were actually the ones with the dynamic poles from Marvel, are the ones that ended up falling out and breaking.
I hate those poles, dude. I hate them anyway.
So for me, I mean, that's why I have figure stand on everything. I mean, it takes up more room, yeah, but that's why. If it's magnetic, that'd be great. If it's a really strong magnet, or just for pre-order purposes, it's a light one for this, but it gets stronger later. Yeah, that'd be fantastic. I would love that.
Yeah.
But overall with this, I did order it. I'm happy with it.
Were you able to get the 4-pack?
I was.
Let's go. Nice, dude.
Now, I honestly expected them to come out with Ghostbusters 2 before doing a 2.0 of this.
Yeah, me too.
However, I'm not disappointed with this. I obviously ordered it. My thoughts are, I have the 4-pack ordered right now. I'm thinking about ordering a single Venkman and a single stands
for the alternate sculpts.
Yeah, and just do it to where Ray first sees Slimer, you know, where he's like dropping his cigarette.
Yeah, that's
and have Slimer turn around where Venkman's holding the radio.
Yeah,
and have that behind the 4-pack where they have everything lit up.
That's a cool idea. I like that idea, actually.
Bro, I was just sorry to interrupt there. I just looked up like the Ecto 1, the 84, just to see what it's going for right around
a kidney and a heart and a brain.
I saw somebody just sell one on eBay for $5,250.
Oh, dude, like the hype for that vehicle is up here right now. This is like the worst time to buy because everybody's like, well, shit, I was able to get the Ghostbusters finally. I need an Ecto 1. And yes, I agree, Boba Fettuccine. It's so dirty that they put it behind the limited packs because that is like Stance's iconic look, is that cigarette hanging out of his mouth.
Actually, if you need to buy one of the Ecto 1s, the Afterlife one is actually on sale.
On Big Bad, right?
No, on down what do you call it? Pop Culture.
Oh, okay, yeah, Big Bad still has them in stock too, which is crazy.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're looking, I mean, because you're probably not going to be able to get the totally clean one. The Afterlife one, you know, could be a perfect one to go with this. If that thing's 4 feet long, so you got to have plenty of space for it. But
yeah, for me, I don't know, dude. Like, I know some people certainly will do that lane, but that almost feels like a consolation prize to me. I'm like, well, I've got the 84 Ghostbusters, but I've got the inaccurate to these Ghostbusters.
Even
and
the
I get
Afterlife one is sound, like, I mean, not sound, but like,
because you know that
it's sold.
Yeah, the Afterlife one, it has all that weathering and it has like that gunner seat and everything, and I
Even
love
that's
how it
like
looks.
3K. I mean, that's insane.
Yeah, I love how it looks, and it like I said, it's still in stock at a lot of places. Like, I guess they made a lot more of them, but I would agree with Equan. I'm not particularly like on one side of it where I'm like, I think they're definitely going to do it. I'm actually right now, I think they're probably going to chill for a little bit after this and do other things, especially with The Boys. The last season of The Boys just finished filming, so it's going to be coming out in the near future. I think that's when they're going to announce their Boys figures finally. So they do have a lot of stuff planned, I think. Blitzway is just a new animal now. They're doing some really special stuff. Like Back to the Future and Ghostbusters are two massive beloved IPs, so I hope they continue to really go hard on it because they have a lot of really great stuff in the pipeline, I think. Yeah. What's up, dude? What's up, Gabe? Thanks for being here, bro.
Another thing, too, is Winston's head sculpt is so much better.
Dude, it really is. Let me go back to the pictures of him.
And I know a lot of people are like have called this a reissue, and I know a minute ago I just said the wrong thing, too, and I said reissue. This is a complete 2.0 pack.
Yeah.
Because it's brand new head sculpts and everything else. But overall, I mean, I'm going to get this. I'm actually kind of hoping more for the Ghostbusters 2 vehicle. Because if we get that, if they show us the Ghostbusters 2 vehicle, then later down the road, you know, I hope that means that we're going to get the Ghostbusters 2. And hopefully it's a 4-pack and a 5-pack where we get Tully, Louis Cole, the lawyer.
Yeah, So the Ghostbusters 2 Ecto 1, that has like a lot of red on it, right? Like that's like it's got much more red to it, right? I think that's the Ghostbusters 2 Ecto 1.
Yeah, but doesn't it have the thing on the side too, like the writing or whatever?
Yeah,
I'm looking it up. Yeah, it's got like
I
it
think I
looks
like
like construction tape on the side, and there is a lot of red on there.
yeah, I prefer the Ecto 1 from the first film, but
It
I think that would
doesn't
still
look
be
as
really
cool
cool.
as the first one to me.
Yeah, that would be cool, kind of like in between. That would be in between the afterlife and this one. That'd be like a cool, kind of like, you know, Yost is doing the 68 TV series Batmobile. Like you couldn't get the 66, but at least you can get something related to it. That's kind of how I feel about that. Let's see. There's a comment. Yeah, so I wanted to bring up this comment from Flavio. Flavio says, I think the fact that this sold out as fast as it did is going to make them want to do the vehicle eventually. Flavio, I'm sure that they want to do the vehicle. I don't know. We all know. Here's the 3-pack, by the way. I never actually put up the official photos of the 3-pack. We know how big of an undertaking it is. Yeah, $250 is not a lot. We know how big of an undertaking that type of vehicle is, especially. So, yeah, I don't know if they're going to turn around and do this maybe like a year down the road, year and a half. Maybe they'll visit it. I just think, like I said, I think the next thing for them is the Boys, because they just announced that the Boys final season, I think it's season 5 now, has finished filming. Very excited for that. I sold off all of my third-party Boys figures in preparation for that. Even if we just get, you know, Butcher and Homelander that they showed, I'll be happy. But yeah, I think that's probably going to be their next priority when it comes to 1/6 scale stuff.
Were there limited numbers on the single figures as well?
No. So that's the thing. The single figures are free to purchase until they cut off the pre-orders, which, you know, they're still selling the DeLorean. So I think you're going to have quite a while to pre-order those. So if you're a big Ghostbusters fan and you could look past not getting the Slimer or the alternate sculpts, which I think, you know, for the most part would be pretty easy if you're a big fan, you know. You could still get them, which is awesome, and you don't have to pay the crazy, because even some of these singles guys were selling for like $700-800. I think I had Egon Spengler from the first set, and I think I sold him for around $600. I mean, I had paid a lot for him, but I sold him for more than I had paid for him originally. So the original single pack figures sold for double and then some. So I think it's definitely still worth it if you're a big fan. I think it'd be very risky to try to wait and maybe get a deal on a 4-pack, because I'm sorry, I don't think that's going to happen. This 4-pack especially is going to be an absolute freaking zinger on eBay, man. It's going to sell for a ton of money. So if you want the figures, just get the single figures. You have other options for the Slimer. You know, as crappy as Star Ace is, their Slimer's actually pretty decent that they did. I think it's like 1/7 scale. So I would do that if I were you. I would just get the single figures. If you really want the Slimer, just grab the Star Ace one. Tim says, would love to see more musician figures from Blitzway. Would love to see figures of Kiss, especially Gene Simmons. Yeah, I don't know if I would buy Kiss, but I do love musician figures. I have their Kurt Cobain. I've got the Michael Jackson on pre-order from InArt. I've got So Toys Prince. I've got the I've got the Elvis from Cost.
How are you? Don't even know.
Yeah.
Iconic. And
I got the Iconic Studios Elvis, one of the two, because the other one hasn't released
you don't
yet.
deserve it now.
And then So Toys, a figure that I was dreaming of. They did a Slash from Guns N' Roses, so I do have that on pre-order as well. So when that gets released in 5 years, because So Toys is just an absolute mess right now, I'll be excited to get that. And Daft Punk as well. I almost forgot about the Daft Punk 2-pack. Music and Collectibles says, I was lucky enough to get the 4-pack from Spec Fiction. I guess it means I'll get it in 10 years. Yeah, you know, no shade to Spec Fiction. I did kind of break my own rule, because at my last pre-order with them, I was very unhappy with the whole process. It was the InArt All-In set. Dude, I got it like months and months and months and months after everybody else. I did end up getting it, and, you know, Todd was very responsive to the process. It just took an absurd amount of time, and I thought it was ridiculous, and... You know, no shade to Todd. He did his best to help me out. I guess whatever distributor they go through was just extremely slow. I've been told when it comes to statues, they're way better. I will say this, though.
Sometimes.
I guess sometimes. But I will say this. At least you can have the confidence you will get it eventually. You know, they're not scamming anybody or anything like that. They are absolutely 100% legit. They just take forever. So for me, I don't need stuff. Not all stuff. I don't need everything like right when it comes out. Certain things I would like, but... So for that reason, I won't get anything from Todd unless it's like a statue here and there. But he's definitely legit. You know, you're gonna get it, so that's all you have to worry about. You Pulp to Pixel says, once I get Egon in hand, I will decide whether or not I need to get to the BW Egon. I'm really impressed. Sorry, I just literally opened up a random tab. Freaking lost his comment. Hold on. I am really impressed with the Present Toys versions of Ray and Peter. Yeah, I mean, the Present Toys versions, I don't think they look terrible. I've seen some people saying that they think they look better than the Blitzway versions. If that's how you feel, then, more power to you. I completely disagree, but, that's why we all collect our own things. I had the Present Toys figures on pre-order. I happily canceled those and lost the NRD. And now I will be getting the Blitzway ones because I do have the 4-pack on pre-order. So, but yeah, those who are happy with the Present Toys versions, I'm happy for you guys. They are a lot cheaper. So if it's more in your budget, why not? And by the way, what's up, Jose Plus? I lost your first comment, but I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for being here, my friend. I will be joining Jose Plus very soon over on his stream. I cannot wait. Earth616 says the zippers are better as well, and they have the over flap covering. Yeah, there's just some like minor things they tweaked. And Earth616, you seem like someone that knows a lot more than I do about specific details when it comes to Ghostbusters. Because I said this in my video that I did on these figures. I hone in on certain things like when it comes to Star Wars and Predator stuff and certain other IPs, but Ghostbusters, I've just never got that far with it. So it's awesome to have people like you to point those small details out. That's really cool to see. And then Lane, we'll get your thoughts on it as well. I want to read a couple more comments because they're kind of piling up. SG Collectible says, like how long you had to wait for Spec to ship. Am I missing another part of the comment? Maybe I am. But yes, Spec does take forever. They take absolutely forever. Like I said, that's no shade to them. They always deliver from what I've heard. So that's all you can hope for. As long as you get your product. The big problem is retailers not delivering the product. That's where we have a big issue. If they're delivering the product and they're slow, they're slow. You know what I mean? It is what it is. It doesn't make them a bad company. If you're somebody that wants your stuff immediately, then don't buy from them. You know what I mean? But Lane, we actually have not talked about this too much. I know you kind of shared your thoughts briefly. You're like, I think they look pretty good. I want to pull up this video, by the way, Lane, while you're talking. Because Blitzway did put up a video. I do have it on the slower speed just so we can kind of talk about it a little bit as it's going. But I did bring this up to Sean as well. So as you're sharing your thoughts on the figures, in this video, it looks like they actually, and shout out to Flavio. Flavio is actually the one that pointed this out. It actually looks like they do show the magnetic bases in this video because you don't see any sort of grabber behind them. So Lane, as you're watching this video and as you've seen the photos and we've been discussing it, what are your thoughts? And Lane, did you go for these? Are you, you considering grabbing them at all down the road if you get convinced? No, you're not a big Ghostbusters guy.
I like Ghostbusters, but it's not something that I would spend my thing is there's Star Wars figures that I can spend $300 on. Yeah. So I just it's one of those things.
Well, Lane, you could. What is that? 4 Star Wars figures. You can make a little trick, or you could sell that Venom you just got and make plenty of space for the Ghostbusters.
No. But literally the time, because I considered maybe I would try and get the 4-pack, if nothing more, like you said, it'd be a good live unboxing or something to do. And then if I really wanted to not keep them, I could probably sell them later. Or knowing my thing, give them away. Do you think we would have 5,000 entries?
I was going to say, Lane, that might be our biggest giveaway yet. But Lane, here, I want to point this out while you're talking. You can see what I mean. And again, shout out to Flavio. Yeah, and that's another thing.
Really small bases, though. Tiny bases.
Here's another thing, Lane. It doesn't look like they're actually showing the rolling eyeballs in any of these videos or photos because they do mention rolling eyeballs as well.
I know that I watched a little bit on replay, not in the real time. Nate and Denobi discussed this, but they were being pointed out in some of the verbatage and stuff between the two different original listings and stuff.
The Paranormal Police is crazy. Yeah. I know Flavio got this set he wanted the Glizzy Gobbler attachment. That's what he was most hyped for. That's why he wanted the set.
And no, I think that I think the figures are really good. I do think they still, for some reason, they still seem to show some of the age,
you think they look too old.
To me. Well, they look not as detailed as some of the ones we get from Hot Toys and stuff. And I know, and I'm only saying that because I think they look pretty good, but at the same time, I mean, it's just I know Blitzway can hit amazing looking head sculpts.
Like this here, Lane. I'm looking at the eyes and stuff, and I'm like, That look. I mean,
Yeah,
you know how I feel about the head sculpt, but it looks pretty detailed.
Yeah,
to
the
me.
yelling head sculpt. I was like, I don't know if that would be the one I would feature so much there.
Egon might
Egon
look
looks
similar to
good.
the first. Does he kind of look similar to the first sculpt to you, Lane? I think he looks very, very similar to the first sculpt.
Yeah, but this is like you said. This is 2.0. I'm more about making like. See, I don't like where you see the. I don't understand why you wouldn't try and. All you need to do is have the PK meter like down a little bit more, and maybe his head tilted a little bit more forward, and you're not going to show the peg down.
What I wonder, Lane, too, is that this hand is specific for the PKE meter, but it almost looks like it's just floating in his hand. So I wonder how well he actually holds it. I'm very curious about that.
It looks good. I'm more about are the uniforms, the proton pack, the accessories, and everything. Because I think, yeah, the head sculpts for these matter, but I don't think about quite 100%. I think this is about the entire.
The Zedmore sculpt is so good, Lane.
Yeah, no, that one. Someone took a picture to show me the original one, and I was like, "Who is that supposed to be?"
Yeah, it is a big difference.
And he said, "Not the original actor."
Jokes aside,
his cousin, his second cousin.
Jokes aside, I know people like with their Present Toys one. The version of him for Present Toys was the only one I really thought was like out there.
Well, I think for Present Toys they did copy a lot of the OG Blitzway ones. I think they copied a lot of the stuff. So maybe I haven't put them side by side, so I'm just talking out of my ass. But maybe they copied that sculpt as well. I don't know.
But I will say I do like the uniforms. I think the proton packs look amazing. Like those definitely seem better and more detailed to me than the originals. We'll see how the proton effects and stuff, how well they attach. Sick. I like but don't love them. Slimer, I think, was cool. I really actually like.
Would you
Slimer.
run them with the glizzies or without them, Lee?
Probably with the glizzies, because that's what I remember seeing mostly with them. When you're going, blah, 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 blah.
I feel like you have to have the glizzies.
Yeah.
And also, I don't think the original one had this like dripping effect, did it? I think it was just kind of.
I think it's an improvement.
It didn't.
Yeah, it's a totally new sculpt, I think.
At the end of the day, if you're going into this understanding these are more maybe 1.5 to 2.0s of the figures, they're probably obviously going to have much better bodies and stuff.
I would give them a 2.0, Lane. I'm going to give them a 2.0.
Yeah.
People are saying this one's crappy, and they're saying the Star Ace one is better than this.
I don't know if I would say that, but I will say the Star Ace one for Star Ace is actually pretty decent.
Yeah.
But I like how this.
That's like the only thing Star Ace I would say has put out half decent in the last 10 years. Look
at the glizzies just sitting there on the ground.
I know, yeah. But I like the 4-pack. I really like people are able to get this and not spending $2,000 to $3,000 and stuff on it. For me, it's just the timing and stuff is. I know I missed it earlier. You guys are talked about. I'm going to guess already the Dark Empire Luke, which was.
Yeah, I was saying I wish Lane was here to talk about
that.
It,
That was the thing I was all jazzed about. Like
Aries did kind of he kind of called that. He did say when we were on his stream, he was like, I think they're about to release the Dark Empire Luke.
Soon.
Yeah,
but I think this is a great 4-pack. I think the pricing on it is really good. Especially if you see like the individual pricing for each one of them. And
they're like $309 a piece. Lane, I'm not gonna click on the tabs because for some fucking reason, Blitzway put this stupid video, and I promise you, every time you click a tab, it's like bass boosted to the max. Did anybody else see this stupid video? By the way, guys, 92 people watching. You guys are the best. Thank you so much for being here. But yes, did anybody else in the comments? You guys have to share this. Have you clicked on these tabs and got freaking bass boosted? It's like happens to me every single time.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, Lane.
I had to say the other problem was like when this 4-pack, when everything went up for pre-order initially, it was at the exact same time the showcase for Prime 1, and I was actually locked in doing a stream. So I was all locked in onto that. That's one of the few times, like one of several times a year where I am completely statue focused. Like I am completely locked in on that. Of course, it ended up being a Toysman because I didn't see too much of anything I actually.
And I was
wanted.
asleep. I was asleep while you're doing that, Lane.
Yeah, no. Well, it was from 8 to 10 on Friday.
Yeah, like
it was literally the
proverbial. Yeah, proverbially asleep because I didn't care.
Yeah, I was locked in for that. Like that's all I was paying attention to. But yeah, these just because for space and other stuff, it was something I was kind of interested when they were first showing it, but I would just like the timing and everything. And there are some other Star Wars figures coming later in the year, like Han Solo and stuff like that that I might need the money for later down the year. It's a matter of
it is a lot of money to shell out. To be fair, it is a lot of money to shell out. I mean,
I was looking. It's one of those things where Hey, the great thing is you're not in the hot with this. Even if you get the 3-pack and you got to buy the Winston, I'm sure you'll be able to get Winston by himself later.
Yeah.
But you're not in the sea of will Hot Toys over the next 3 years put out all the stupid figures. Like, will they actually make all the guys? Like the Bad Batch maybe or something like that, where you had to take 2.5 years before you could get the entire team. You can... Oof.
This has to be a troll, Flavio. There's no way. There's no way this is the original.
No, that's definitely not the original. That looks more like...
these look like Hasbro sculpts. I don't think...
this looks more like... They look like a combination of trying to combine the real actors with, like, the real Ghostbusters animated versions.
Bro, Flavio, there's no way. There's no... Flavio, you're trolling with this, bro. I don't think this is the original set. No. That's like Hasbro quality. There's no way. Because then you go from...
I clicked on the tab on that just to see what y'all are talking about. Like, I'm self-muted. It is kind of loud.
It's insanely loud, and you can't switch. Every time you switch in between each tab, it just boosts.
Yeah, I was like at half volume, and it sounded like it was all the way up.
That's crazy. Flavio sends me a picture to show on stream, and then he says, "My bad." And Flavio, you're crazy, bro.
Dang.
Chunker says, "I had the old ones, and they weren't." That's pretty funny, though. I mean, we could tell it wasn't Blitzway, but Chunker says, "I had the old ones. They weren't amazing or anything, but had great presence. I had to get the singles, but I'm cool with it." Yeah, I mean, I had, like I said, the only one I actually had in hand was the Spengler.
That the 4-pack sold out?
Dude, like, yeah, it was like literally 60 seconds, like maybe just under 60 seconds. And then, of course, everybody ran to the 3-pack, so maybe like 2 minutes for the 3-pack. It was very, very quick, very quick.
Well, I will say the good thing is this is a long sought-after item that they are doing improvements to, that they've included some extra stuff, you know, and... I think it's for collectors who are Ghostbusters fans. In a lot of ways, this is the ultimate collectible you can get because it's big enough to have some presence to it. But, you know, it's not like, you know, PCS is doing quarter scale statues or something. It's not like that unless you get the Ecto one. Yeah. Excluding that, if you get the... But this
they
is
just
like
look cool, naturally.
Yeah, they are the perfect scale and size where they can, you know, you can have them take up some space, but not also like be so massive and everything where you have to set aside like a part of your room or something like that to fit them.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and even if you have like the effects out, it's still like not. It doesn't take up that much space. I want to show these photos real quick. Shout out to Chunker. These are photos that he took. And I think this definitely paints a good light on how bad the paint apps were on the original set in comparison to the new ones. Again, I apologize if I'm dissing the original set and you're a current owner of it, but they're just very outdated. You know, I had the Egon in person.
10 or 11 years old, so I mean.
Yeah, the Egon was my test. I'm like, I'm going to get this Egon in and see what I think of it. And I was like, the paint apps are pretty damn bad. So they're very old, so that is a testament to how old they are, I guess. But as you can see here, extremely soft paint apps. You could see the improvements, especially for Bill Murray here with the likeness. I felt like the original Egon sculpt was pretty damn good for the time. But yeah, Bill Murray, he's mostly here, but not quite as much. Again, Egon looks pretty good to me. Yeah, the Winston sculpt is awful. I'm sorry. Like, I love that he has the cigarette in his mouth here, but the eyes just really throw it off to me. The likeness is just not quite there, and it just, yeah. The new one is a huge improvement. Again, you could also see on that sculpt as well the paint app differences. There's a shot of all four of them. I think there's some more photos. Yeah. So there they all together. And again, like even looking at the flight suits, you can kind of see where they've tailored those up a little bit more.
I still think they look pretty good on the shelf.
Well, of course, yeah. Especially for the age, of course, yeah, they look great. And from far away, and when you have people in your house and they see the V1 set, they're still gonna say, "Holy crap, that's the Ghostbusters." So,
I
yeah,
don't know
and
about that. What Moose said.
uncarded reviews, like, yeah, I did see. Actually, one did sell for 1,000 with the bonus accessories, like the Ghostbusters firehouse sign and the barricade and stuff. It did sell for 1,000. I don't know if I would buy that, but
if I would do it, especially with the like, even if you did them separately, you're getting brand new bodies, like brand new updated paint out. Like, I just feel like as long as those are there, I would want whatever's updated. It would have to be discounted more than 1,000, considering like that $1,000 price tag is so close to what these are.
Yeah. Uncarded reviews. I think that's another great thing. A lot of companies, to put it bluntly, they're just not good at doing African American hair, and I think Blitzway has improved that drastically on the new version. If you look at the details on his hair, it looks extremely realistic. Like, I want to pull those photos back up so you can see like the highly detailed versions. Let me find.
Hey, wait a minute. Okay, you guys are forgetting one thing here. Okay, Hot Toys has done an amazing job on every Samuel L. Jackson's eyebrows.
I don't even own any.
Start giving them credit where credit's due.
But
Black Panther's hair was good, and Jamie Foxx for Electro, those looked incredible.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Well, Electro is much newer in comparison, but a lot of like, especially like
you're talking
third-party
about
companies,
older?
like Blade, like the third-party Blade, the hair looks a little weird. Here, like the details and the way that they're able to sculpt in the details and not make it look like overly thick like some of these other figures have looked, I think it's very, very impressive. And the skin tone it's just perfect. They did such a great job on the sculpt, and it's so great to see this compared to the original one because they really just did such a great job. Yeah, dude, the fact that you were able to dump that, you're lucky on that one. You're lucky on that one. That was just perfect timing to sell. I've had that happen to me a few times, like with Moon Knight and stuff like that. I just had really good timing selling them off. Yeah, I haven't checked out the new cap yet, but I heard that sculpt is really, really good. So I'm excited to check that one out. I have that on the way. Because I passed on the original one. I really liked the suit, but the New World Order suit kind of grew on me, and I kind of enjoyed the film. It wasn't perfect, but it was an enjoyable film. But I'm excited to see how that figure looks in person. Flavio says the Zedmore is night. It really is. Like I said, I think he's like the most improved player here. I think they did a great job on him. He's definitely the MVP when it comes to improvements on the sculpt. They really did an awesome job. Pulp to Pixel says, I am impressed with the new Egon sculpt and how the glasses disappear into his hair, not sitting on the... Yeah, and that's very important. I mean, look how many companies have kind of messed up glasses and made them look goofy. And it's very easy to make Egon's glasses look goofy because he's a goofy-looking guy, and the way that his hair is shaped and everything. It's very easy. And the glasses are goofy-looking, too, let's be real. So, yeah, I think they did a great job with that as well. That's a really good point. Sean, I know you had something to say, but real quick, we have Kaiju Daddy in the house, and Kaiju Daddy says he'll be catching the replay, but he's keeping his 1.04 pack and grabbing 3 more of the 2.04 packs.
That's crazy.
Yeah, because I know he was getting them from somewhere in Japan. I won't say where because I don't want to blow his spot, but yeah, he was asking me if I wanted another one. I was like, maybe I'll take that up with you later. But yeah, Sean, sorry you had something to say, and I just kept on rambling.
Yeah, so I'm looking at Finn's hair from like The Force Awakens. They did a good job on his too.
I have Finn. I don't think it's bad, but I don't think it's quite as HD. And again, like sometimes it just looks a little bit overly thick with the texture. I don't know what Blitzway did here. I hope is like a good precedent moving forward because it's just very, very natural looking. I think it looks fantastic.
Yeah, they did a good job.
Hey, what's their history of like proto to final?
I mean, Kurt Cobain was better, in my opinion. And also, I will say, Blitzway was extremely transparent with that Kurt Cobain. I'm sure some of you guys remember. They literally put up photos side by side of everything from that Kurt Cobain. They did such a great... And his hair, he had like a greasier hairstyle, and it was very loose. And they did a good job at sculpting in that kind of greasy look without making it look fake. It's a great figure. That figure is selling for a boatload of money, too. I'm glad I got it for retail, and I pre-ordered. I actually got that from Big Bad Toy Store. That's where I pre-ordered mine from. That's crazy. Yeah, well, I mean, I guess it wasn't too difficult to do a good job on Mace's hair. Yeah, and Chunker, I was saying that I feel like that's a good sign for the future for Blitzway because, you and I both know, because I know you really like the Kurt Cobain like I do, like there's a lot of depth to that paint, and he's got like airbrushed in veins and stuff on his forearms and like the spotting in the skin. I believe so. They did a Jimi Hendrix years ago. You know who has really good paint apps? So I think some of the most surprising, really impressive paint apps for me was the Godfather, the Vito Corleone from Damn Toys. Those paint apps on those head sculpts are just mind blowing. You got like the liver spots, the veins around the edges of his hair, like the grays and everything. That's like those are some of the best paint apps I've ever seen. So that's why when that new pre-order went up, I think the company is Akuaz for that new Pirates of the Caribbean announcement, to see that the company potentially is Blitzway working under another third-party name. I had to pre-order it, dude. I had to. We got Mike in the house. What's up, my dude? A channel member and a great friend. Mike. If Mike could make it, he certainly would have. Mike, thank you for being here, my friend. I know your schedule is pretty crazy right now, and you got some exciting things on the way, but I know you'll pop in here and there when you can. But thank you so much for being in the chat, my dude. Yeah, Kang is one of the other ones where it was kind of spotty, too. I agree with that. I think a lot of people were, like, not fans of the main Kang sculpt, but, like, the blue one. I think that's kind of where everybody sits on that. Yeah, guys, once again, though, before we move on to our last couple topics, I know, Sean, I think you might have something else to add, but I want to say, pricing, guys, it was $1,200 for the 4-pack, $900 for the 3-pack, and then each individual was $309, I believe. I'm not going to click on the tab because I don't want to get base boosted, but I think it was $309 per. So, of course, it's a bit more expensive to get all 4, but, it might be worth it. It might be worth it if you're a fan. You might just have to forego the extra accessories. But, Sean, did you have anything additional to add before we move on from the Ghostbusters?
Is there a third party that's making, like, the police...
the barricade and stuff? Yeah. I don't believe so. I was tempted. There was actually someone had a Ghostbusters Firehouse sign on eBay from the old set, but it was like the lights were all like screwed up and it looked dim in most of the sign, and like it had scratches on the paint. So I'm like, I don't need it. So I was kind of looking around to see. I haven't done a ton of digging, so I don't want to say for sure, but maybe somebody in the comments has looked to see if anybody has done that, because if not, somebody's got to do it. I mean, they could easily 3D print those parts and make them like snap together. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, that would. Hopefully, we start seeing some villains though too, like Vigo and Zool.
I think actually Star Ace did a Zool. That was one of like they did a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. They did Zool, and they did, and then the Slimer. Those are the 3 that they did. So, at the very least, obviously the Zool is going to be way underscaled. You're not going to get a 6-scale Zool, but it would be cool though. I don't even think. I think
even the Slimer is at a scale.
Yeah, I was going to say I don't even think the Slimer is 1/6 scale because he looks a decent amount bigger in the film. So, I think maybe they scaled it down, which I'm cool with. It's if you have it in the background, you can kind of imagine as if he's like just coming out, flying in. Like maybe he looks a little bit smaller doing that.
It's probably the only one that works out of that line.
Sorry, what'd you say, Sean?
Are you referring to Star Aces?
No, we're to the Blitzway.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think the Blitzway is undersized. The Star Ace, I think, is 1/7 scale. I think that's what they listed as. I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe they'll show additional photos of him next to them, but he doesn't look like he's 1/6 scale to me. But I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that because it is kind of
What's
like
the one that came with the OG 4-pack?
I don't think that was 1/6 scale either. I think that was also undersized. Yeah. Pulp to Pixel says, I want Keymaster and Gatekeeper figures. That would be sick, dude. I mean, they really could go deep in this line. I don't know how many people would go like that hard on it beyond just getting the Ghostbusters, but you never know. Yeah, Abraham, Collecting Madness was saying he saw, I think, sold, right? You said you saw one sell for $5,000. I mean, now, Abraham, now is the worst time to buy.
5K.
Now is the worst time to buy because everybody wants it now. Everybody who's been able to secure these, everybody wants it. So, yeah, I would be careful right now. I maybe if you could practice patience, maybe wait and see what happens. quick update. We're spending no time on this at all. I just wanted to let you guys know, those who have pre-ordered the InArt Severus Snape, they thought it was a smart idea to announce the figure and think that we would just be happy with floating potions. Yeah, that was like a big no. No. And they even showed a potions table in the
and everything they showed, prototype,
even like the very early teases they showed it. So InArt has announced officially. We already knew about this. I don't know why it took them so long to officially announce it, because it was in a Korean group like weeks and weeks ago.
Yeah.
They officially announced if you pre-ordered Severus Snape, you will get the table. So definitely a good W for us collectors, because that was kind of BS. Why would we want a figure that comes with all these potions and you can't display them? It still is kind of a cop-out, though, because I wanted it to come with the table with the black cloth draped over it. But I think Chris and I are probably going to do the same thing and find some black cloth and just kind of drape it over. That's my plan, at least, because it looks way better that way. Yeah. But it is nice, and they're not charging anything extra. But, they tried to pull a fast one on us, and we weren't having it. So I'm glad that they went back and they fixed that, because next, would be Draco Malfoy. Obviously, they said they're going to be altering the sculpt, which is great. He also doesn't come with jack shit, and I'm pretty disappointed about that as well. Yeah, potato. That's
$400.
I can't even say it. Yeah, and then like Draco's. Draco's only $20 less. He's only $20 less than the kids, and
dude, I've been blowing up every time they post about.
Yeah,
Draco,
Chris is like me with the Predator.
I can't knock him, I guess, completely, because I know Luke was $420. And that was more than Anakin DX by like $5. And
yeah, but the part on that is rooted hair. Like, these all have rooted hair.
Yeah. And
their previous announcements had like a ton of accessories. And we almost didn't get the table with this, but Draco is like,
he didn't get the couch,
dude.
And the couch that him, Crab, and Goyle sit on, like, not having that, I'm like, well, I guess we're not getting.
Like,
I never expected Crab and Goyle.
He's Slytherin, but like I don't even remember. I don't think I saw books with it. He gets a broom, but like there's nothing that goes with him, really.
Yeah.
What about that orb thing that he holds that belonged to Longbottom? Doesn't come with that or anything at all.
No, he comes with nothing, dude. And he comes with Fang, which is Hagrid's dog. Like, I get it. They just wanted to include it. I don't know. It's just weird. We can go on for hours about it, but yeah, it's kind of whack. Guys, quick little teaser from Sideshow. Love to see that Sideshow is continuing with their horror line. This is what they need to continue to do. Sideshow has announced, and this movie, I have not seen it yet, but I love the design. I'm not necessarily going to get the figure, but I do want to watch this movie eventually, but I've heard a lot of great things about it. And they're doing a John Carver from the Thanksgiving film. So, no matter what Sideshow does horror-wise, I love to see that they're still doing horror stuff. This is what they need to stick to. This and all these random and original trilogy Star Wars figures. Sean, I'm getting glimpses of old Sideshow. I hate to jump the gun, but, they're going hard on these figures, man. And, like, all those original trilogy Scum and Villainy figures, I'm getting small glimpses of old Sideshow. So I'd love to see them. Sean, we've talked about them doing diorama pieces and stuff again.
Yeah.
I would absolutely love to see that. I really would.
I think it is in Sideshow's best interest to stop doing figures and just do diorama pieces.
See, I don't know.
This is why is
one year to go back to diorama.
My concern with all the new Star Wars figures they're making is they're using the same bodies. They haven't had a really good track record for the last few years on the bodies, because they're breaking or the pieces are loose, or a lot of people don't like figure stands, and they won't stand without a figure stand.
See, I guess it depends on the figures, though, because I haven't had that issue with like any of my Clint Eastwood figures. The one that is kind of awkward to stand up is like the animated Cad Bane. But like none of the realistic figures, like Beetlejuice stands perfectly fine on his own. The body is perfectly fine. Tim Curry Pennywise, he's literally behind me right now. He's standing just fine. So I will say this, Sean, as someone who's bought a lot of Sideshow figures in the past 2 years, they're getting better. They really are. Do I think that their price tag should be Hot Toys and then some? Absolutely not. I think they're charging too much, but they are getting better. I get it. Like for years we all kind of said the same thing about Sideshow and their bodies and everything, but they are improving. The Clint Eastwood figures are I just beg you guys to hear me out. They're so good. They are so good. The paint apps are not Hot Toys quality, certainly not. But the tailoring is nice. The accessories are nice. They're nice figures. They really are. And like, I don't know if they should be fetching the money that some of them are, even though they've been reissued a couple times, or at least a couple of them have. But they're nice, and I love the David. The David is definitely not perfect, but it's nice from the Lost Boys. Beetlejuice very much surprised me, and Tim Curry Pennywise very much surprised me. So I don't know, Sean. I have more faith in Sideshow. I agree that they should do dioramas, but I would disagree that they should dump the figures altogether because I think they're doing some really cool stuff.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It's like someone who started off collecting 1/6 Sideshow and everything. You know, there was a lot of their older Clone Wars figures, you know, had the really loose body and everything. And then when they picked up, when it started having the Disney logo on the clones,
yeah,
the bodies held up a little bit more.
Yeah.
Like when you would take the armor off, you could tell there was a difference. And then some of their other figures went down, like, for example, their Marvel line. That, you know, when they started doing like the comic book stuff and everybody's figures were breaking.
Yeah.
You know, that was just 2 years ago.
Yeah, those Marvel figures were pretty shitty, most of them.
You know,
they were pretty bad. Especially the Wolverine. I heard a lot of people had issues with the Wolverine.
Yeah, it's you know, so that's what's fresh in my mind is
no, I get it. They don't have a good track record. I guess I'm just trying to say, like, I can personally see them from personal experience in owning their newish figures that they are making an effort to improve, and I'm seeing improve. Like I said, I think when I got the Tim Curry Pennywise in, I was like, okay, Sideshow is here to play. They're listening. The bodies are not loose anymore. They don't, because trust me, I still have a couple of Sideshow clones, and those bodies are like, it's like a marionette. Like they're so bad.
Yeah.
But I think they've finally learned that they can't charge this money and just keep selling the same. Like, because even like as recent as like that Clone Wars line, Sean, like the Ahsoka's terrible, the Anakin's terrible. Like a lot of those figures are really bad. But like, look at the Cad Bane and like the one before that. I don't know if Yoda was before Cad Bane or before Ahsoka and then Cad Bane. I'm not sure, but like the Cad Bane is actually pretty awesome. I really like the figure. Yeah,
so I actually haven't seen the Cad Bane in hand.
Yeah, it's actually pretty awesome. I'm very impressed by it. The only complaint is like the posability is a bit limited on that one.
Yeah. And I think also I mean, someone who has a Sideshow diorama pieces, you know, that all of them are great. You know, they're still good. Made out of polystone, so they hold up.
Yeah, they're solid. Like, you know, I have the Yoda hut. That thing's a freaking brick.
Yeah, I mean, I would feel bad for whoever gets hit in the head with that thing.
Hey, you break into my house, I'm cracking that shit over your head, dude.
Yeah. Wrong house entered. You must. Anyways.
It does.
But, you know, it's like, it wasn't just Star Wars they were making. They're making little places for Lord of the Rings. They were also doing a lot of 1/6 scale diorama pieces for G.I. Joe.
Oh yeah, I forgot they were doing that.
Yeah, it's so they could have ventured out and done a lot more to where they could just create stuff and it could be universal for anything. You know, it could be universal for like if you wanted to do Star Wars, you could do like, you know, RoboCop or the I can't remember another movie I'm thinking of, but
there's a lot of dioramas that like are fitting for multiple universes. It's kind of like that company, I think they're called Mojang Toys. They've been making some really cool stuff. Like I still to this day have not opened it. I have to get around to it, but like they did a platform 9 3/4 diorama. They did a BVS diorama, which I wish I would have pre-ordered, that has like the water where the kryptonite spear was sitting in that little water puddle in the rubble. and it glows at the
They
bottom.
also did like a Tatooine kind of thing too.
Yeah, they did the kitchen diorama. So I think that company is like kind of reminding me of Sideshow in a lot of ways, like the stuff that they used to do. And those dioramas are, you know, multi-purpose too. Like, you know, they did the kitchen diorama for the Heath Ledger Joker, but you could do a lot of different stuff with that kitchen diorama.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, that's the thing though, is they're so good at that stuff.
Yeah.
That if they just focus in on it,
yeah,
you know, they would make so much money. You know, not to mention too, like, they're improving on their statues. You know, their premium format Batman statues or DC line is pretty good as long as they don't try to do a realistic face, like a comic book face. They do awesome with that stuff. You know, like for example, I bought both the Captain Rex statues that they made, the phase 1 and phase 2. You know, I want them to make more of that.
Yeah, that Ahsoka they did was pretty good though. Like the newer Ahsoka statue.
Yes, they did.
That likeness is really nice. Like, and it seems like, Sean, that I know Yixi, who worked on, she did the Tim Curry Pennywise sculpts, and she also sculpts for Hot Toys. She also did the sculpts for the recent Obi-Wan premium format that had the Alec Guinness and the Ewan McGregor sculpts. That she did those sculpts as well. So they are hiring better talent, it seems, which is good to see, because Yixi is amazing. Like some of her sculpts are like the best sculpts that I've ever seen. She does great work.
So what else has she worked on?
You know, I mean, she's done a lot for Hot Toys. If you go on her page, what I like that she does is she'll post like a raw sculpt, like like a kind of a screenshot of the file, and she'll say commission work for Hot Toys or commission work for that. So if you go on Yixi's Instagram, I don't know the numbers after her name. Okay. She actually shows a lot of the stuff that she has worked on. Like obviously cool. she waits. She kind of low key teased the clean Terminator on accident because she posted the clean sculpt
before it was even announced.
Yeah, before it was even announced, and we weren't sure. So we were just kind of theorizing, and then eventually we did get the clean sculpt. So she kind of like jumped the gun there because she usually doesn't do that. She'll wait until it's announced and then say, you know, commission work for Hot Toys. But yeah, it's very, very cool. You got to go on her Instagram and check it out. She shows like a lot of the work, and she does a lot of private commissions, or she'll do. Thank you. There you go. Appreciate it, Moose. She does a lot of private commissions too. So she'll show like stuff that she does for like companies that do like limited runs of 10 and stuff like that. So I would highly recommend checking her out. It's just a really interesting thing to see like the origin of a lot of these sculpts and like what it looks like in raw form. It's just really interesting. She does amazing work though.
Yeah, because paint apps really do affect the likeness too. Like, because she does some on point work, but if you're painting it wrong, then.
And guys, I want to share before we head out, because we're going to be heading out very shortly here. Our boy Moose got in some really cool stuff, and he got Dutch from the first Predator film, one of my favorite films ever. I'm really hoping for a new one, not to jinx Moose because he just got this one, but I would love to see a new one with like an updated 2.0 body and updated head sculpt and everything. Hell, if they want to do a
silicone arms and stuff.
Yeah, like if they want to do a muddy Dutch or something, that would be really cool. So congrats on this, Moose. This is a really awesome pickup. Guys, I think I'm going to cut it off here. Wanted to run a little bit shorter tonight. What an amazing turnout. We had like almost 100 people at one point hanging out with us, talking about Ghostbusters and everything in between. I appreciate each and every one of you. It's great to have the crew back today, minus our boy Mike. Sean, it's great to have you back, man. I know it's harder for you to make it nowadays with everything you got going on, but when we're able to have you, it's an absolute pleasure. And it feels like the old days having you back, and it's so great to have you here. And great to have you on camera, because I know, you know, with everything you had going on, too, you weren't able to be on camera the past couple times. So it's great to see your beautiful face, Sean.
Thank you, but I'm not very attractive. But I can admit it. It's okay.
Oh, Tarkin. Was it multiple photos, Moose? Did you make multiple posts?
Said,
yeah, he got Target, too.
I think he got 4 figures or something.
My bad, Moose. My bad, Moose. I saw a comment where the Dutch was commented on, and I guess it pushed that up by itself. So Alex Murphy 2-pack and Battle Damage RoboCop. I have this pack. I absolutely love it. MMS 90, so the original Predator. That's really dope. You know, I have my custom Jungle Hunter. And then there's our boy Dutch. Oh, you're going all out, dude. You got Billy as well. Or no, this is not Billy. You're going all out, dude.
That is Billy.
Oh, I'm sorry, it is Billy. What am I? What's I always? It's not Billy. I always confuse. What's the name of the Native American guy? I always forget his name.
Oh,
Somebody's got. It's got to be one of their favorite characters.
I don't know. Don't ask me, bro.
wait, it is Billy.
Yes, we're saying that's Billy, but he's thinking of somebody else.
No, who's the
History
Native
is
American
trying to-
guy with
yeah,
the? What was his name?
He's
Billy.
trying to figure
That
out
is
that
Billy.
person.
So this is Billy.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm confusing myself. Okay.
Are you thinking about Mac? Well, no, Mac's not
No,
Native.
I'm gonna say that is not Mac. Far from Mac. That'd be cool to get a Mac figure.
Are you
though.
thinking of Poncho, like the guy with the grenade launcher?
Maybe I'm thinking of Poncho. What am I doing here? Billy Souls, baby, Billy Souls. All right, yeah, I just confused myself. That's when you know we have to get off. But congrats, Moose, some really cool stuff, dude. Congrats. This is some awesome pickups, some really, really big grails there. But guys, that's gonna wrap it up. Chavez. That's crazy.
Oh, what are we going to be mentioning for next week?
Oh, yes. Lane, thanks for reminding me. Lane, we'll let you say it.
Okay. Well, hey guys, we wanted to let you know as well. This is one of the reasons I needed to make sure I got here. We will be Hot Toys Hotline July 4th special. So next week we will actually be doing a giveaway for a Dark Trooper from my collection.
Woo!
Dang, bro.
This is going to be
Aries.
so this will be next Tuesday on July 1st. We're planning to do the giveaway. Now, Connor and I never even got a chance because he's been busy and I've been super busy over the last week with life and everything else getting in the way for the most part. But I guess, Connor, were you thinking, would we have people comment on this video? That they comment on this stream afterwards, not in
This
chat.
stream?
Yeah, comment on this stream.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we could do that since I guess you're trying to have the giveaway completed by next week, right? That's the
We
plan.
want to do it next week and get it done.
Yeah, we'll
So
do
people
that.
Give it a week.
We'll do that.
So
yeah.
what you want to do, guys? You have to be subscribed already to Hot Toys Hotline. But this is not just members. As long as you're subscribed, you need to comment because this makes it easier for Connor to be able to just review everybody. You also have to be watching on the stream next Tuesday night to be eligible for it. So just put a comment. You can just tell Connor how awesome he is, how the Nightmare Cave makes your wallet cry. It's just the possibility that if you tried to copy him, how much stuff he would have.
It'd make their wallet cry.
Have you looked at all the figures behind you? And
yes, I paid for them. I mean, what
I
about
know
it?
they're well.
You know, there are people who have more than me.
Yeah, well, I know, but not as much. They're not as cloney as you are, though.
Oh, that's true. I wonder if I have the largest clone collection.
You or Nate. Nate likes to get like a bunch.
I think you guys underestimate. There are some massive clone collectors
cloning
out
guys.
there, so.
Yeah. But
Sean's probably up there for sure. But there's some guys that have customs of literally like every named clone,
like Commander and everything from like a visual book or something like that. But you'll just want to comment on there. This, unfortunately, this will only be available for shipping in the United States, though. So if you're international, this is just something you won't be able to enter, unfortunately. So just keep that in mind if you are international.
with the tariffs and stuff too. It makes it even harder.
It would just So anyway, just wanted to make you guys. This guy has been, just so you know, has been displayed before, but there are no fingerprints on this.
A little lane juice won't hurt anybody.
Yeah, I know. There are no fingerprints on this guy whatsoever. They've always been handled with gloves, so that he's in immaculate condition. You guys will love it. And hey, we all need a new trooper every once in a while.
And the Dark Trooper's sick. It's that, you know, a lot of the Mando figures are just very underrated because they don't sell for crap. But the engineering on the Dark Trooper is really sick. The joints are nice and ratchety.
You can literally split it in half so you can recreate like Luke slicing them to pieces.
Yeah.
Or if you have the Chrome Mando or something, there's a lot of functionality.
It's fun. Yeah, it's super fun. So yeah, thank you for that, Lane. Thank you for reminding me, guys. You do what Lane said. I will post this on the Facebook group and on Instagram on the story just so people can see it and make sure they leave their comments. But thank you so much for that, Lane. That is very generous of you. I think it'll make somebody's 4th of July weekend very special. And I personally would be very happy if I won a Dark Trooper, so I'm sure anyone would be. But, guys, thank you so much, Lane. Thank you, Sean, for being here and for making it and hanging out with us. Guys, if you haven't already, check out Nightmare's Cave. I know Sean just put up another video, I guess yesterday or the day before that, a couple days ago, Sean.
Yeah. So I've done 2 videos in the last week. Both are updates on what's going on here in my collection room. And yeah, so along with the hiccup that happened, moving cabinets from upstairs to down here, ended up having to completely take it apart. So
damn. We always try to do the easy way first as men. Always the easy way.
Well, my math was off. I measured it, and so I thought it would be okay. And I thought I had about 1.5 inches clearance. Come to find out, my math was off by 2 inches, and I was short half an inch.
Damn,
Ended up having to take the entire thing apart.
Damn. Well, you can always have a plan, but nothing ever goes according to plan, I feel like. But it is what it is. I'm glad you're able to figure it out. Guys, definitely check it out. Check out Sean's videos. I always love his videos because they're very, like, personal. I guess it's the best way to describe it. They're very personal. It feels like you're talking to a friend. Like, if you're at your friend's house and he's showing his collection to you, that's what it feels like watching Sean's videos. So definitely check him out. Check out Chris the Collecting Madness as well. Chris did do a video on it. He was able to get his brother's copy for a review of the Sith Apprentice Vader. So if you want to check out Chris's thoughts on that, definitely check that out. And yeah, I put up a video like more kind of a little bit more in depth on the Blitzway Ghostbusters and my thoughts on it. And a lot of you guys seem to really enjoy those videos that I've been doing lately. So I appreciate the support on those. And if you want to watch it, videos up on the channel. Those who are watching on the replay, we really appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here as always. And we'll see you next week at 7 p.m. EST on Tuesday. Once again, don't forget, make sure you enter that giveaway. If you skip to the end for some reason, I don't know who would do that, but if you skip to the end, make sure you skip back just a little bit to hear what you got to do to enter the giveaway. But like I said, I'll share it in the Facebook group and stuff. If you guys haven't joined the Facebook group already, what are you doing? Links in the description below. Check out Off the Racks. Great place to buy figures here in the U.S. I know a lot of people have been asking because of the tariffs and stuff. Love Off the Racks. He's a great guy. Unless you get a figure from him and you move addresses and you don't tell him your new address, like
and
Chris, then you
it
won't
possibly
get it.
goes to spam, or you never get it, then you're gonna miss out. But
Yeah.
he's working on it, and I have to.
Yeah.
Good
So other
dude.
than that, John's great over there. And then, of course, Jeremy Costa from Plastic Hero Collectibles. Any day one collectibles you want, links in the description. He'll hook you up. I think that's everything. And thank you, Big Dog Pound, for dropping the link. But yeah, that's going to wrap it up, guys. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. Be safe. Take care. And we'll see you next time.
Take care, everybody.